All right, folks, let's continue on with our mid-unit assessment number 2 review, and we're on page 3. So let's start with question 5. Which equations are true? Choose all the correct answers. So we have to go through each and every option and do out the problems and decide whether or not they're true. So I'm going to go ahead and start doing that. So letter A was 3 7/12. Take away 1 4/12. So I line them up, and then I'm going to start my fraction. 7/12 take away 4/12 is 3/12. 3 take away 1 is 2. So the answer here is 2 3/12. And if we go back and look at our option for A, that is true. So we got to circle in option A, because that is true. All right, 6 2/4 plus 3 1/4 is 9 3/8. So again, let's go through. So I'm going to do the break apart and add, where I go and take my mixed numbers and I break them apart into the wholes. 6 plus 3, and then the 2/4 plus 1/4. 6 plus 3 is 9. Plus 2/4 plus 1/4 is 3/4. So that equals 9 3/4. Oops, sorry. Let's do that. So yeah, again, 6 plus 3 is 9. 2/4 plus 1/4 is 3/4. So then it's 9 3/4. And if we look, yeah, the answer they're saying is 9 3/8. So that is not true. So we can cross out option B, because not true. All right. C is 5 2/10 plus 4 5/10 equals 9 7/10. So let's do that out. 5 2/10. So break apart and add. 5 plus 4 plus 2/10 plus 5/10. So 5 plus 4 is 9. Plus 2/10 plus 5/10 is 7/10, which equals 9 7/10. So let's go back and look at C. And sure enough, yes, it's saying 9 7/10. So we have to circle option C. All right, so I'm going to do that, because that one's true. All right, 5 2/5. Take away 3 1/5 is 2 3/5. Well, let's take a look. Let me rewrite that. All right. 5 2/5. Take away 3 1/5. So 2/5 take away 1/5 leaves you with 1/5. 5 take away 3 is 2. So the answer is 2 1/5. Where if we look at D, they're saying it's 2 3/5. So D is not correct. Cross out D. It's not an option. It's not true. Okay. 6 5/8 plus 2 2/8 is 8 7/8. So let's find out. Again, 6 5/8 plus 2 2/8 equals, well, break apart and add. 6 plus 2 plus 5/8 plus 2/8. 6 plus 2 is 8. 5/8 plus 2/8 is 7/8. So that is 8 7/8, which is correct on our paper. They do have 8 7/8, so we circle in letter E. Okay, let's do F. Last one on this problem anyway. So 9 5/6 minus 4 wholes and 2/6. So 5, 6 take away 2, 6 is 3, 3, 6. Oh, my marker's starting to die out on me. Choose a different color. 3, 6. 9 take away 4 is 5. So 5 and 3, 6, which is correct. So we're going to circle in F. Okay, so that is it for question 5. All right, let's go to number 6. So Paula practices her volleyball serve 2/3 of an hour each night for 4 nights this week. The total number of hours she practices her volleyball serve this week is between which two whole numbers? Write your answers in the blank. So in order to figure out what two whole numbers, the total number of hours she practices in, we got to solve that. So I took 2/3 of an hour times 4 nights. So 2/3 of an hour times 4 nights. So again, we're multiplying the whole number times the numerator. So 2 times 4 is 8. That gives me 8/3. So again, breaking it down into a mixed number, I see that there's 2 wholes plus 2/3. So it's 2 and 2/3. So the two whole numbers that is, or the answer would be between 2 and 3 hours, right? Because 2 and 2/3 is a little bit past 2 wholes, but it's not quite 3 wholes. So that's why it's between 2 and 3 hours. All right. Emmanuel measures 2/3 of a liter of paint for an art project. He needs 6 jars of paint with that same amount. Okay. So again, write and solve a multiplication equation that Emmanuel can use to find the total amount of paint he needs. So again, 2/3 liter of paint, and he needs 6 jars. So he's taking that and dividing it into 6 jars, right? So we got to figure out how much total paint he needs. So it's 6 jars. Each jar has 2/3 liters of paint. So we got to go 6 times 2/3. So 6 times 2 is 12/3. And when you break that apart, it's going to be, well, so 3/3 is a whole. That's 2 wholes, and we have 6/3. Now we have 9/3, and we can do another 3/3 because that gets us 4 wholes, right? Because it's 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 3 is 9, plus 3 is 12. And that gives us exactly 4 liters of paint. So you could write the answer a couple ways. You could say that it's 12/3 as a top-heavy or improper fraction, or say 4 liters of paint. All right, so go ahead and turn to page 4, and this is question 8. So we have Seth and Kit, and they have bags of wildflower seeds to plant. Seth has 6 bags of seeds, and each bag weighs 5/6 of a pound. And then Kit has 3 bags of seeds, and each of her bags weigh 7/3 of a pound. Which statements about the weight of the bags are true? Choose all the correct answers. So again, this is one of those choose all questions. So you got to go through each one and decide if it's correct or not. So in order to solve this problem, we have to figure out how much each bag weighs for Seth and for Kit. So that's what I did over here. So Seth, let me zoom out for a second. He has 6 bags, each weighing 5/6 of a pound. So 6 times 5 is 30, and again, so it's 36. And then I broke that down into wholes, and 36 is 5 wholes, right? So his bags of wildflower seeds weigh a total of 5 pounds. So let's talk about Kit. Well, Kit had 3 bags, each weighed 7/3 of a pound. So 3 times 7 is 21/3. And 21/3 can be turned into 7 wholes. Okay, so this will help us answer our questions. So let's look at A. Kit's bags weigh 21/3 pounds in all. Well, if we go back, that's true, right? Because again, 3 times 7 is 21/3. So A is correct. Let's talk about B. Seth's bags weigh more than Kit's bags of seeds because 6 bags is more than 3 bags. Well, that kind of makes sense, right? 6 bags would weigh more, but if we look at it carefully, no, it doesn't, right? Because Seth's bags only weighed 5 pounds and Kit's bags weigh 7 pounds. All right. So, and if we think about it a little deeper, right, Seth's bags weren't a full pound because his bags were like 5/6 of a pound. Whereas over here, right, Kit's bags almost weighed 2 whole pounds. Actually, they were more than 2 whole pounds, right? Because she had a top-heavy fraction here, right? So that makes more sense that Kit's bags would weigh more. So this is incorrect because Seth's bags do not weigh more. So we can eliminate B. Kit's bags of seeds weigh more than Seth's bags. Well, so far that's true because 7 pounds is greater than 5 pounds. Well, yeah, there we go. That makes sense, right? Because we figured out that Kit's bags weigh 7 pounds, Seth's bags weigh 5 pounds. So C is correct. So let's color in C. Seth's bags of seeds weigh 2 times as much as Kit's bags because 3 times 2 is 6. Well, that's not true, right? Because Seth's bags weighed 5 pounds and Kit's bags weighed 7. If Seth's bags weighed 2 times as much as Kit's, that means that Seth's bags would have to be 14, which is not true. So D is not correct. All right. Seth's bags of seeds weigh 36 pounds in all. And that is true, right? When we figured that out, we did 6 times 5/6 to get 36. So E is correct. All right, question 9. Which statement, let me zoom in here, correctly compares 3 3/4 and 9 1/4? Well, they did an area model here to kind of show you that. So A, both expressions have a product of 9/4. Well, let's see if that's true. So yeah, 3 times 3/4, if I did that over here, 3 times 3/4, 3 times 3 is 9/4. So that's true. And then 9 times 1/4 is also equal to 9/4. So yeah, both expressions, this expression and that expression, both equal 9/4. So we didn't have to go too far to find that. So the answer is A. Okay. And you can kind of go through if you want to eliminate these, but both expressions have a product of 1 over 36. Well, that's not true, right? Because even if we start here, 3 times 3/4, yeah, 3 times 3 is 9, and you carry over the denominator, so it's not even 36, it's fourths. So that one's not right. The product of 3 3/4 is greater than the product of 9 1/4. Well, that is also not true because they're both equal to the same thing. That one's not true. The product of 9 1/4 is greater than the product of 3 3/4. Again, not true because when we did them both out, they're both equivalent. So it has to be A.